Big Boy's neighborhood. All righty, man. We got royalty that just walked into the neighborhood. Show you right. And RZA is here, too, with us. No, just we got RZA from Wu-Tang Clan in the neighborhood. How you doing, RZA?
Peace. Good morning.
Man,
good
pleasure
morning.
to see you in the neighborhood, man. These damn
pleasure.
drivers, Hey, man, he took a car in, man. He was supposed to have been here yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just arrived.
Yeah, the LA drivers, they like to keep the straight lane. New York drivers, we do the zigzag.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
man.
mean?
Turn the car sideways. You know what I'm saying? Pick it up, walk it through. You know what I'm saying? Like a
big
sofa.
wheels.
Hell yeah. Yeah, just roll over. So do you live out here or you buy coastal? How do you do it?
Yeah, I'm by coastal.
Coastal. Yeah, yeah.
Let's
Do you live here in New York? Let me just say it like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's kind of like 70%, sometime LA, depending on the project.
Right.
This project.
So you do have something where you unpack here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
My wife lives here. So
Okay.
She,
oh yeah, so that is a reason to unpack here. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah.
Yeah, she ain't with, she loves the East Coast, but she's a LA girl.
Oh, okay.
You know how us New York boys.
She like these fake ass seasons we have out here. I don't even know if we have seasons anymore.
We don't.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you like being out here?
No, I enjoy it. I like, personally, I live most of my life fast. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So to me, the pace of LA is calmer.
Oh, I heard
And
that.
that's healthy for me.
It seems like we moving in slow motion sometimes.
Yeah, it's healthy. For
That's
me.
why you coming out here making all the moves. Like, man, how the hell he get that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. Can I keep that as a sample? Hey, man, now, Wu-Tang, man, when y'all say Wu-Tang, when we heard like forever, y'all weren't playing. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, let me tell you the first time I saw Wu-Tang. Like, I was bodyguarding the Far Side years ago. And then we would hear, Wu-Tang. And we were like, damn, and that's the protect your neck, the white label.
Right.
And it was like, man, who are all these motherfuckers on here? You know what I'm saying? And then we was already on Wu. And you didn't have like a lot of videos. We saw the video, you know what I'm saying? But like at one point, the camaraderie of what hip hop felt like back then was everybody stood out. Everybody felt like they were on their own. You know what I'm saying? As we were traveling, we were running to this person, that person, but we wanted to see Wu-Tang.
Right.
And then we were at Jack the Rapper.
Wow.
And it was like, man, I don't know how y'all all got to Jack the Rapper, but it looked like y'all brought the whole island with y'all.
I remember that, yeah.
Dude, like, and that was my first introduction visually to you guys.
That's when we kind of put the stocking mask on too.
Yeah, y'all didn't want none of that though. Even early Ghostface. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once everything got popular, Ghostface like, man, I got to take this off.
mask off, right?
I want to eat for free and do everything y'all doing. So when I know that there's a lot that's going on with Hulu, and I love the Mikes and Men as well on Showtime. And there's been a lot of documentaries, and we feel like we know everything we need to know, or we think we know a lot about Wu-Tang.
Right.
How did that vision of getting so many men to slow down what they were doing and just pay attention and put a project together?
Well,
grown ass.
Yeah, but the
men.
thing is, I think when you have built trust, you know what I mean, and you have honor and respect from a group of men, then there comes a point when I use the term Noah. Like, so Noah was the best Noah. He knew it was going to be a storm. Right. So he told everybody, look, and those who listened, they got on that ark and they made it to safety. You know what I mean? So at the point in time of me and my community, I was like that Noah. You know, I had never crossed anybody. I was faithful to my word. You can lend me your video game cartridge and get it back. Remember back in those days, somebody will lend you something.
Yeah, like, man. Yeah, didn't ask you want to borrow it. Like, dude, that's mine.
So I was, my honor, trust, and vision was pure. And, the brothers, because we all alphas. That's one thing about Wu-Tang, is a bunch of alpha men.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, damn, is that you would think that would be hard to, like, man, we gonna all get together.
But the idea that, at the time, when I decided that, I wasn't Prince Rakeem anymore, but that was the name I was going by, that I'm the RZA, I'm the Abbot. And I'm about to zig us to the promised land. Brothers believed in that, you know what I mean? They put that trust in that. And they gave me their word, right? And the most important thing I would say for any young brothers out there who's going through it, if you give someone the word, like, you got to stick by it. You can't break it, because it takes time for that word to develop. In the beginning, it says in the Bible was the word, and the word becomes flesh, but it takes time. And so I estimated it to take about 5 years from the day that those brothers all gave me their word. And I promised that if we go on the trajectory of which I'm foreseeing, that in 5 years we're going to be #1. And in 5 years, the #1 album in the country was Wu-Tang Forever.
Damn. Wow. And you said it. Can you imagine? What about the ones that didn't get on the arc? Because I know it had to be a couple, like somebody named, MC Roach Do Dirty something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one like, damn.
Yeah, there's a few brothers who who we also still love and respect, and they still homies one way or another, who didn't take heed. One thing happens in the series, we actually show a conversation that happens between Ghost and another producer from our community, and he's reflecting somebody else in our community. When you're making TV, you got to shuffle the deck, right? But there was a guy who was probably smarter than me at the time, more talented than me at the time, had more time with the equipment. But I had this drive, and I was telling him, look, bro, come with me. You know what I mean? And I said, Wu-Tang Clan, I want to bring the martial art culture and hip hop together. And he looked at me and said, yo, bro, I'm black.
Right.
Hang with all that kung fu.
And who said that? I mean? Ghost?
No.
This
was the guy who didn't eventually remained in his same apartment.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Which is, his choice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some people don't see the vision, you know what I mean? And sooner or later, the ark doors must close. In the story of Noah, some of his children didn't get on, you know what I mean? Some of his family members, they didn't believe it's going to rain in the desert, right?
Right,
you gotta think about it back then.
They be like, man, now he be smoking dust. Like,
yeah, exactly.
This dude over here, man, he's smoking dust.
Yeah, it's going to rain. You know what I'm saying? But it happens, right? So they say, there's always one amongst you who is the best Noah. And at that time of the development stage of Wu-Tang Clan, the RZA was the best Noah.
Hey, man, and it sounds genius when we look in the rearview mirror. You know what I'm saying? Because it worked. You know what I'm saying? But I saw the hard work, but in the rearview mirror, it's like, oh yeah, everybody would have got on the arc. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have found you and got on the arc if I would have known years later that this is what it would have been.
Right.
So hindsight, boy, we all 2020 when it comes to hindsight.
Exactly.
Now I do have to ask you, man, about Wu-Tang and America Saga. Hulu, y'all brought us to Hulu.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
okay.
Because you got to think there's like I mess with Hulu, you mess with Hulu, but there's some like the TV show Power brought a lot of people to Stars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now this made sure that I was on my Hulu game.
You had to keep your account going.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a blessing.
So when you go from just music, production, scoring, movies, acting, everything, what makes you also get back into the smaller screen or get this Hulu relationship with to tell the story there?
Well, for me,
and script it.
Yeah, well, for me, I'm an artist first. And so therefore, I'm always finding different ways to express my art. So I'm not schizophrenic. I just want to say that out loud.
Right, right.
But as an artist, there's just many mediums, So it's like you look at some of our great musicians and they may start off in blues and they make it over to jazz, funk, James Brown, Herbie Hancock. He went on when hip hop started growing.
Yeah.
He made the hip hop album with DMX,
yes.
right? So it's like as an artist, you continue.
Well, that was Grandmaster. Was it DST?
Was it DST? I said.
Yeah, the mixer.
Yeah,
like
DST,
they did rock it together and everything. I'm probably wrong too. Yeah,
I think it was DST.
Yep.
Yeah, Rocket was the song though. But the point being made, he grew and evolved, and his art kept finding him, putting himself in different places. Quincy Jones started with that trumpet.
Sir.
Next thing you know, he's making the biggest pop album in history.
Yes, sir.
So me as an artist, I'm always finding ways to express myself. And so I'm a writer. I've been writing for the last 5 years since I wrote this movie, The Man with the Iron Fist, under the instructions of a great writer. Tarantino was like, yo, write. He told me to write. And so, and
did you know that was in you, or somebody kind of picked the lock too? Like, because when you're in the room, you know what I'm saying? And I always tell people this, man. If you're in the room, whatever it is, if you're in the room with 5 Crips, you may be the 6th. Right. If you're in the room with 5 Blood, so when you're in that room, you're like, damn. Yeah, I
it was exactly that. It was another great writer telling me that I should write, recognizing that within my lyrics, I'm writing stories.
Yeah.
So now, there's a craft of screenwriting. There's a formula to that. Learn that formula and put your ideas into that medium. And I did it. And so after doing a few of those and building that up, I also met another fellow writer named Alex C, who wrote Superfly.
Yes.
Watchmen and other strong projects. And we combined our energy and we wrote this American Saga. And what I've been doing, you know, is also going back telling my crew that you should write.
Yeah.
You guys should write because, you know, think about Inspector Deck, who wrote I Bomb Atomically, Socrates' philosophy and hypotheses can't define how I be dropping.
Hey man, that's when it was edutainment, because you would be like, man, what these words mean?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But now take that same mindset and give me a whole full story. Give me a 90-page script by building off of this vision you see. And so we was able to do that with American Saga. And also I wrote a book called The Tao of Wu. So The Tao of Wu was read by an industry giant named Brian Grazer. And Brian saw within that this can be serialized TV or something. And he optioned the book. And that was when I was working on a TV show called Gang Related. And after, you know, 4 or 5 years of development, we finally got the right partner, who was Alex C., myself, Brian Grazer, the blessings from Ron Howard. You know what I mean? It was a blessing. And we said, let's find a home for it. And Hulu became that home.
Hey man, and when you say it, it sounds genius. And it sounds like, I mean, the hard work and also thinking outside the box too, because there's so many things that you guys accomplished in Wu-Tang where anybody else would have been like, man, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just or I'm good with the. But you also make sure that there's ownership and that your story is told a certain way. And even with the fellas of Wu-Tang, when you say, man, y'all need to start writing yours as well, is there ever any time where they think like, man, we not getting the fair pieces of the pie? You know what I'm saying? But the pie is there. Like, man, nah, like,
well, the beauty
I'm
of
doing
it,
it. You could do it. You could do it. You could
exactly.
do it.
The beauty of Wu-Tang is that no matter which one of us, you know, grows, right? If you look at Method Man growing on, you know, Drop the Mic and all the movies he do, it still represent that same culture, a piece of this culture that we bring to the table. And so, and it still inspires. You know, Method Man, if you see him nowadays, he got muscles and all that. Okay?
Yeah.
So when we first started doing this anniversary tour, he was probably the only one with muscles. All right?
And then
now everybody got a few muscles. Yo. It's like, yo, because steel sharpens steel.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? And so if they see me out here working my hand in Hollywood, like go say, yo, I'm gonna be out there next year in Hollywood, son. You know what I mean? Because he's seeing that his art has more ways to define itself. Man. You know, and Big Boy, look, that's always been, and I share this with you. It's always been my motivation. My motivation, right? Ever since the year around 2000, when I realized that even hip hop was becoming a bunch of crabs in the barrel. A lot of people coming up handing me demos. They all wanted to do the same thing that I was doing. Not realizing that this art can be vast. Like, you don't have to be the rapper. You could be the producer. You don't have to be the producer. You could be the editor. You could be the costume designer.
When a movie go off, look at all those credits.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When a movie go off, look at all the credits, bro.
And you can find your way into this world of creativity that way. It's more entrance. So when they look at RZA, they can say, wow, well, RZA wrote a book, New York Times bestseller. So maybe I don't have to write rhymes. I can write a book. Oh, well, he acted in a movie. Well, maybe I could act. So my idea is to leave footprints. And by leaving a footprint, somebody else could say, you know what? I could take that road too. There's a clear footprint.
Yeah, man. And especially when you see somebody else done paid a lot of tuition into the school of experience. You know what I'm saying?
Like
yeah, so I look at people also, I'm like, man, they paid tuition into the school of experience. Whatever mistakes they made. Like, I learn a lot from other people's mistakes as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you get a vision of somebody else doing something or thinking outside the box. Because you got to think, man, nobody's living on what they call hip-hop royalty money anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not getting like 2 checks a year and like, man, I'm straight. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Everything is post the booth now.
Right.
Like, what you doing outside of the so-called booth now? What does hip-hop, where the hip-hop state now? Do you lend an ear? Do you have any eyeballs on anything, or are you constantly just in your own?
No, I mean, I'm a, you know, maybe I shouldn't still be, but I'm a party man. You know what I mean? I find myself up in every city.
Right.
You know, you don't got to
research.
Yeah, you ain't got to convince me to go out.
Yeah, you sure? Oh, he gone already.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I love getting on the mic, DJ, and all that. So, what I love about hip hop, most importantly, is that it's global, yo. And you could end up in this, you know, you could be in Spain. you know, and it could be 2 a.m. and you could go into a spot and you're gonna hear that music. You're gonna get the energy that it gives you, and you're gonna have a good time. You know, music, you know, hip means something that's hip. Back in the day, it means it's cool, it's on point. That's what's hip. You know what I mean? The hop is the bop of the beat. You know what I mean? And so to see that it's global, to me, that's the most beautifulest thing, because I remember when, you know, I'm like the bridge of old school, new school. What I mean by that is, like, you know, when Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, Spoonie G, you know, I'm 9 years old listening to them, and I start writing based on what I'm hearing them do. And so I'm like a student. And when they was doing it, and I talked to Grandmaster Caz about this, he said, yo, you probably couldn't find 500 people that knew how to do it.
Now.
You see what I mean? So now it's probably 5 million. You know what I mean? And out of that 5 million, maybe 5,000 is doing it good.
Right, yeah.
But still, it was such a small amount of people that knew how to do it and do it well. And so it's beautiful to see it's global.
Do you feel that hip-hop is being disrespected by some of the people that's in hip-hop?
Disrespected to be a strong word. The thing that, you know, I'm conscious of, because I was young, right? So you mentioned that Jack the Rapper.
Yeah.
He didn't care about, you know, look.
Were y'all the ones who threw the sofa off the top of the thing, or was that? Because I never could figure that out.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, all right. I don't want to Tekashi snitch 9 you in here, but.
No, but the point being made, we was young. We didn't care about who else was there. It was us. You know what I mean? So when you're young, you know, you're going to have that testosterone. You're going to have that energy to go ahead and just dominate and do what you think your mind. You don't know no better.
Right.
So
we got to give everybody that time too.
The breather.
Let them crash the car. Just don't crash hip hop.
Just don't crash hip hop. Think about this. I'll say one thing. Think about, like, 5 years ago, some of the rappers who are now breaking, right? You know, Uzi Vert, maybe, right? Or you could name a lot of them that's now, like, bong, they're popping around the country, right? And watch their lyrics back then. So 5 years ago, the lyric was like, that's the lyric. And then 5 years later, look how they grown. I mean, look. So you got to give it time to evolve. You're not going to find somebody like a Nas who was already dope at 15.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, you got Little Nas X, right? Who's, you know, longest number one song, right, on the charts. And his lyrical content is at the, you know, base. If you take his lyric and write it down, you could find 50 other lyricists that got stronger lyrics. But he's in the game now. 5 years from now, if he loves this hip hop, if he loves what it really means, his lyric game going to continue to grow. I look at Drake, you know, like, I mean, let's look at him as a great example and maybe a leader of the generation. And look how not only everything about him has grown. Right, he came in first. They said, "Oh, he's an actor. He's just singing." And
right.
Then his lyrics
Juster,
and his lyrics got better. The music got better. The vibe got better. The mannerism got better. His business got better. Now he got a Drake plane, yo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he kept evolving. So I would give these MCs out here and these young hip hoppers their space to evolve, because I could see that even me myself as the RZA. You know, I was walking around with gold fangs and nappy hair, grave digger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I could put on a button-up shirt and walk into one of these executive meetings and have them invest millions into our culture and tell our story another way.
Hey, man, and I know that Wu, as far as the brand, everything is well protected. Y'all look out for it.
Yes.
And then, you know, there's some people that I feel like, man, they just trying to use it too. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, y'all, like, Logic did a song with y'all, right? And y'all could do it with anyone. I thought the way that was done was respectfully. He showed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did that feel like for you with somebody that's on the younger end that came in and knew what was going down and paid that much homage?
Well, you know, we got to respect that. You know, Logic's a very intelligent young man, a chess player. He likes, you know, I know we got a game coming soon. He's challenged me over the gram, and I got to meet that challenge. He's probably been studying all the books, right?
Yeah.
But no, he's a very intelligent young man, and he represents, to me, a classic style of hip-hop. You know what I mean? He's focused on his lyrics. He understands the boom bap era, as we call it. And so I think it's only right. And, you know, when he asked me, you know, he called me up. He was like, yo, I just sold out Madison Square Garden. I'm enjoying life, and I got an epiphany, and I had to ask the Abbott, can I have the entire Wu-Tang Clan on the song with me? I said, well, you know what, bro? Let me go holler at the guards and see what's up. It was that simple. And I hollered and said, yo, look, this young man, you know, is doing great things for himself. He's a great representation of hip-hop. He's also a great representation of the evolution of hip-hop. Here you have a young man who comes, you know, from B-More, mixed family, and is able to be a representation of American culture as well. And with America, like the Dr. King America.
Right, yeah.
You know
Tell me about it. So I have a dream.
Yeah, he's one of those kids, right? And he loves what the Wu do and what the Wu stands for. And you know,
I love how you said what the Wu do and what the Wu stands for, as opposed to what Wu's done and what they stood. Yeah, very present, always.
Yes, sir. And they, you know, the brothers all agreed. You know, I mean, some brothers waved their, like, you know, some brothers, you know, maybe got some economics out of it, but I feel like most of the brothers was like, nah, it's all good. It wasn't an economic thing. It was respect to the young man, respect to the hip hop culture.
What goes down with Wu-Tang Clan for Hall of Fame?
What you mean?
Like, as far as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like, I thought it was 35 years, but it's 25 years before you can get inducted.
Right.
Is that something that you guys are eyeballing, or?
That'd be a great honor. You know, Questlove had, I think Questlove gets the vote now. So,
really though?
He got a good voice in there, right?
Hell yeah.
But it would be a great honor. Look, you know, when you're young, you don't think about the accolades, or the biggest accolade could be a Grammy, right? I mean, even when we won the Grammy for All I Need, you know, Method Man, Mary J, it wasn't like that really kind of like, you know, I mean, you didn't feel it, right? How you, but now as you get mature and you look back and go, wow, you sold 40 million records, yo. A lot of it without radio play. You know what I mean? 30,000 kids show up, you know. We did a show last week and it was just Wu-Tang and Snoop, yo. And, you know, about 15,000 kids showed up, and that wasn't a festival. Right. That was just a hard ticket.
Hell yeah.
You know
and it's crazy because you're looking the audience, man, and when we first saw Wu-Tang Clan, like when we saw Forever or 36, like some of the audience wasn't even alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that just show you, like I love a lot of Motown growing up.
Right.
But I wasn't I didn't buy a Supreme album when it first came out. You know what I'm saying? Right. I got onto it when I got onto it. And that's when you say Forever, you see the evolution continues with y'all, you know, pretty much steering the ship. So when you look out in the audience, there are kids there that wasn't even born when you saw this.
Yeah, I got stopped by a kid 2 days ago. I was coming out the liquor store. The kid shouldn't have been there.
Right. Yeah, blame it on the kid.
I was getting some fine wines.
As you should, from the liquor store.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I come out, and a couple of Mexican brothers was there, and they stopped me. RZA. And it was young. The kid must have been 19, 20. I think he was trying to get his uncle to go in.
Right. To get,
you know what I mean?
Go in there.
But anyway, he said, hey, bro, I love the show. You know, my uncle used to talk about Wu-Tang, but I watched the show, and I love the show. I was like, wow, thank you for watching. I just shook his hand. Of course, he came back over and took a picture. You know,
right. Is he talking about American Saga?
Yeah, he's talking about the American Saga.
It's crazy when we start to, like, where we pick it up from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's some people that was there when they say, oh, I'm day one. Okay, I love that too. But whenever I get people that listen to me, RZA, that'll say, man, I've been listening to you for this amount of years or this amount of years. Then I got people also that say, man, I just found you yesterday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even the dude in front of the store, wherever he got it in the air, then he picked it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then magnetized to him.
Man.
That's the beauty of our art, you know, and I want to take a moment because I just got to say this, just say how proud I am of you as well.
Thank you,
brother.
brother.
I've been coming to LA for years, and from just, you know, watching your progress from radio, from morning to mix to everything, to be an icon in radio, and something that any young personality who wants to enter this field, or anybody who's even in the field, you are a living example of how great you can be in the field.
Thank you.
And the longevity. So I just want to say, you know, thank you, and I'm proud of you and all those things. I just want to say that.
Appreciate it. You notice I didn't even try to cut you off or buddy, and I wanted that totally in the clear. Did you zoom in on him too when he said that? Because you got to think, fam, I'm a fan first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I also purchased tickets to go see Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? So when we sit down, it's like damn, you know, I still trip off of interviews, no matter how long I've been in the game. I still trip off of interviews with people where I'm still a fan. I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of Lil Nas X when he come in. You know what I'm saying? So I'm intrigued by what goes on in this thing we call hip hop. You know, and when we think about Kings of New York, you know what I'm saying? Like Wu-Tang, very braggadocious, very alpha, very in your face, as you would say. And then we do get, and not to bring you down the road, but you do get a Tekashi 6ix9ine where he say he's the king of New York.
Right.
When you look at that, was that a misrepresentation of what was being presented to the world?
Well, hip hop is like a boxing sport in nature. And when you got the belt, you know, you Mike Tyson. I'm the greatest.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
say it.
Until somebody knock you out, right? Look, I said this to some MCs. You can't find, I don't think you'll find 10 rappers in history. I don't think you will. You could try that didn't say they was the best. MC Hammer said he was the best rapper. And you know what? For MC Hammer, he was the best rapper.
I hear you.
So, you know, so it's part of the psyche of it. It's like a sportsman, you know. That's, in fact, we called ourselves Wu-Tang Clan because we said we the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have the Wu-Tang sword. Beat that.
Yeah,
you know what
man.
I mean? So it's part of it, you know. Now, look, when you claim a title, you have to defend the title.
Yeah, defending.
And that's the catch-22.
Right.
So can Tekashi defend that title? You see what I mean? And can he uphold the weight that comes with a title like that?
Yeah, because everybody want it now.
Everybody want it now.
Yeah, they know how to train for you.
And that's the equation he got to face. You know what I mean? That's why you look at Yoda. He got to be an old Jedi.
Right.
You know
Hell
what I mean?
yeah, he got there.
You didn't know how good he was. He was just walking around with a cane and all that. And when it came time to fight, though, he's jumping around like, you know what I mean?
So hell, I'll be a Yoda in the game.
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I learned to go Yoda with
Yeah, my thing, I'm like, man, I'm not offensive, but my defense is immaculate.
Immaculate, brother,
You know what I'm
immaculate.
saying?
Speaking of the show, what was the emotions like when you go back and you're writing the script and you're going back in your life and you're putting it down on paper? What went through your mind and the emotions?
Wow. The crazy thing is when you're writing it and doing it since I've been in Hollywood for 10 years, I didn't feel the emotion during that process, but I felt the emotion when we was in production. We went back to my old home, 88 Laurel Avenue. There's a Spanish family that lives there now, and it still has 40% of the same, you know, because, you know, the wood frame was there. The stained glass that I looked out of so many times was still there.
Damn.
And that was nostalgic. And my little brother, who was maybe 7 or 8 years old at this time, you know, now he's 30 years old. He's a man now, and now he's back in this place. You know what I mean? And he was like, wow, like the energy. And then they built it over on stage.
Wow.
See, so that's what made it surreal. It's like now we shot on location, of course, for the first episode, and then for the following episodes, we had to build it.
Did the family let you in?
The family let us in.
Hey, man, when you go back to where you grew up, did it look smaller to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like...
You noticed that, huh?
Yeah, like it's this feeling, man. I just recently went to a place we stayed in, and I asked the family, you know, hey, I used to live here, and it was crazy, like, how small the street looked now to me, and just, you know,
the toilet stool.
Yeah, just everything looked like, damn.
Yo, and the stove. I was like, I don't know how we cooked on that stove, because right now, you know, I know we both sitting on 6 burners.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So, but that was nostalgic, and that was emotional. But the second thing I want to point out, which you know, it inspired me to do something recently, was going back through the show. You know, I realized how much of a fan of hip hop I was. Being Wu-Tang and making Wu-Tang and trying to, you know, run through the industry, you don't acknowledge your peers. You don't, because you are that warrior and you out to slay anybody. But going back through the show and through that era of my life, I remember like, wow, man, you couldn't put out an LL record without me running to the store to buy it. You couldn't put out a Rakim record without me running to the store to buy it, or EPMD. I'm a DJ. I got these records. I'm scratching them till they turn gray.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And what I did, I found myself. I called up Eric B. And I said, "Yo, I just want to thank you, bro." He's like I called him out of the blue, and I called L too. You know what I mean? Because I realized, that, greatness is not individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You could think it is. You know what I mean? Any great man we name in history, whether we want to, for the black community, we could say Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right? And even whoever you name, there's a bunch of great people around them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of great people that was before them, and there's a bunch of great people doing their small part as well to make to that greatness. So even if you say, wow, look at Lord Finesse and Diamond D, right? They didn't make it platinum.
Right.
But their albums was in your catalog.
Yes, sir.
There was some type of motivation there that inspired you or challenged you. You know what I mean? And going back doing the Wu-Tang American Saga, that's the biggest part of my reliving.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, sitting well with me now. It's like I'm very, I'm like the hip hop uncle now. You know what I mean? And I see, brother. I went to Snoop's dressing room the other day just to give him a pound and a hug. Just
what
like,
that
yo.
smell like? Go ahead. I gotta get out of here.
But it was just like, because sometimes you be doing shows and everybody I said, hold on, let me.
Yeah.
I asked like a fan. I was like, yo, told my security, can you ask your security? Can I come in and say hi?
Yeah.
Right? And not because, all of us make this culture. You know what I mean? And all of us are the reason why this culture is worldwide. And it took a lot of all of us sacrifice something. You know what I mean? Think about the time from your family or the people we lost on the way, how many people we buried, how many families was able to have another sandwich because we made it.
Yeah.
So all that equations is all, is fresh on my mind. And the American Saga series is like, that's my medication. Mm-hmm. That's my meditation. And that's the emotions that I get.
What's it like having someone portray you? Ashton Sanders, he's such an amazing actor. What did you experience when you're seeing him up there being you?
Yeah. Well, he's being a different me.
Right.
The thing, the funny thing about it. I can say one thing. My wife said, Bobby, he got you down.
Mm-hmm. and his character name is
Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby. Exactly.
That's low hanging fruit.
Exactly. So yeah, he did a great job. All the actors, I think Shamik Moore is ripping it as Raekwon. I think Sadiq is ripping it as Ghost. And the one that's really that's kind of just really stealing it for me, a kid named Julian Martinez. He's playing my brother Divine, and he has the physicality down pat, yo. You know what I mean? And Julian is of Latin descent, but he's a trained actor. I went in before we hired him. We went to watch this play. He was on a play on Broadway called Network with
Isn't that what?
Yeah, with Ryan Cranston.
Yeah.
So he's one of the stars of that play, and I got there and I just watched him just hold his weight in front of a Broadway audience.
Right.
And we was very fortunate that when we wanted to get him, Mr. Cranston actually had to sign off to let him leave because he was, they had first right on him, you know what I mean?
Right, for the play?
Yeah.
Right.
And he signed off and said, hey, I like Wu-Tang.
Oh, that's dope.
And he let him.
Hey, man, it's crazy what the universe does, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you've seen enough of the so-called evolution, and we grow, we get older, God willing, we get wiser, just everything. You know what I'm saying? We accept more, we see more without having, do you miss what an old dirty bastard would have seen? You know, and I hate to do what ifs, man, what if? But just, an old dirty bastard that turned the corner. Because sometimes all we need is to turn that corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you see the accolades, the years of the going through every era, how much do you miss old dirty not being able to celebrate or even just see what you all created?
I mean, I miss him tremendously, and I probably don't got the words for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could say that it's a blessing that we take his son out on tour with us. and he does all of his father lyrics. So the YDB, and he's on TV now, right? He's on Growing Up Hip Hop. He got to chill on having all those babies,
man.
But it's that
the apple.
It's
you know what I'm
that.
saying? There's a tree, you know.
I told him about that. I talked to him about that. I said, listen, the thing about that, young Prince, is that you making more children that's going to grow without a father, and that's an equation that can make problems for society. A lot of the problems of society is because there's no balance in the household.
Told him that?
Yeah, I told him.
I heard that.
You know what I mean? I said, I understand, the feeling, the vibe, but you got to understand that you making homes, making single mother homes, and that's something that can really equate to problems. And I said, if you get rich, you're not going to never be rich,
right? Because
you got a lot of mouths to feed, and that never stop feeding them in all reality. You know what I mean? So I gave him some wisdom on that. But I want to point out, not just saying ODB, right? Because it's so personal. But let's just talk about other great legends, right? We lost Pac before 25, right?
25 years of age.
Biggie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Imagine them as men.
Yeah.
Imagine them as
that's what I would say. Can you imagine a 40-year-old Pac?
Exactly.
A 45-year-old Pac?
Exactly.
A 45-year-old,
Yeah.
Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Eazy-E turned the corner. Like, it goes on and on. There's so many that I'm like, damn, And especially Pac and Biggie, where I know what 25 is. And I know what I was at 25 and what I am today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And not that, you change. Yeah, you do change.
Yeah. And they was headed, to an evolution of greatness.
Yeah, man.
So
I know I didn't put a fraction of that amount of work in at 25.
Exactly. And then when you think about Pac, who was such a prolific, revolutionary, let's say, you could see that he would have been beside somebody in the White House as an advisor, because he knew, you know what I mean? And so the problem is, we got to think about, how we can survive, right, without some of the things that cut our trees short, and survive to grow to our full potential. Because, even myself now, put myself in the shoes, this is a different man. This is not a kid here. This is not a boy here. This is not a child here. This is someone who was those things and saw it a certain way and was able to evolve, travel, do the knowledge to myself and to things around me, do the study, whether I'm studying my Bible, my Quran, my Bhagavad Gita, do the visual experience, traveling all over the world, and then being able to realize that I can take this experience and put it into a form such as this written script and tell a story, right, that may inspire somebody else. You know what I mean? And the beauty of it, more importantly, is that, hip-hop helped put somebody like President Obama in the White House. You know what I mean? Hip-hop is something that when you go to our concerts, you see this American dream. You see this amalgamate. Give me the word. I always pronounce this word wrong.
I know what you're trying to say.
Homogenation.
Well, hell, I was even on that one. Yeah.
Let me hit that one, right? But you see it of the people coming together. You know what I mean? It's the same thing that John Lennon sung about. It's the same thing that Dr. King marched about. You know what I mean? And we are now living in that reality. And I know that we also living in a reality where some of that is being challenged. Right? And since it is being challenged, then hip-hop got to continue to still be a light to defeat that challenge. You know what I mean? And rock and roll got to be a light. Music has that power. Art has that power.
Yeah, man.
And if some of our great ones were still here, it would make the road easier. But they're not.
Yeah. And we learned a lot too.
Yeah.
We learned a lot for a heavy price. A heavy price, because even now when you hear people that you feel like they're gonna go at it. You know, people to this day bring up, man, we got together because we didn't want a Biggie Pac situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then immortalized as well, bro. And the same with ODB. Like ODB is dear to people, bro. And ODB, I think when he passed, he was still in I'm gonna do it my way, which we always is. We always are doing it my way, but sometimes our way change. And I know, Natalia, you were asking about his son, about with In American Saga. Was that you who was saying why the son?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. You had spoken about how he did try out for the role, but you felt like maybe
for Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah, for Old Dirty Bastard, that maybe he wasn't necessarily artistically or maybe skill wise wasn't there just yet.
Ready.
Yeah, to be an actor, you know, you got to train. To be anything, the good, you got to train. And when you're making art at the level we was making it at, so it wasn't like we was just making it for ourselves or it's a video. This is a TV show where a character and their mind and the acting has to be carried out week after week after week after week.
And there's a lot of emotion there, and
yeah. And he said, so now we put him in acting class. His mother put him in acting class and all that.
So y'all did try. There was an opportunity.
Yeah. He tried out, and you know, he gets a vote from Uncle Riz.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
You know, and my vote stands for about 3 votes in the circle of about 7 people. You know what I mean? So all we need is, you know, 1 or 2 more people to, you know, but I don't like favoritism.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you give your cousin the job and he's sleeping on the job or something, right? So you can't have that. It has to be tight business. And so he wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean? But he's getting better and better. And, you know, if he wants to pursue acting, I think there will be an opportunity for him, whether it comes from me or whether it's something he generates on his own. Because anytime you want something, you just have to sharpen yourself for it. You know what I mean? And he is sharpening himself. Just don't keep going out there saying you're going to get every girl pregnant.
Yeah, man.
Was there a time, like, you're so involved in Hollywood now, but was there a time where you felt like a lot of people were putting up roadblocks or not wanting you to enter into, like, that world? Or putting you in a box?
Yeah, I'm kind of naive to resistance.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like, why can't I do what I can do? Only if I can't do it, then I can't do it.
Right, and you'll make that decision.
Yeah.
You'll grade yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to train myself. I didn't, like, just jump in. You know, when they said, you know, when Jim Jarmusch asked me, I want you to score my movie, I was like, I don't score. What is scoring your movie? He said, I love Wu-Tang, and I want your music to be the score for my film, Ghost Dog. This is the first movie I ever scored. And so the first thing I did was talk to Quincy Jones, who scored movies.
Excuse me, sensei.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, he scored his first movie at 30. I'm like, wow. Well, I was about 3 years ahead of him. So I'm like, wow, okay, that's a good measurement, but I don't know what to do. And he just gave me a couple of wisdom about how it's not music until the phrase repeats. Okay, that's all right, I got that. And then I went and I studied Javoski, if I'm saying it right.
But so you putting the work in.
But he wrote Peter and the Wolf. And in the study of that book and of that film, he used the instrument for every character. So now I got a mental in my mind, like, okay, I understand that because even when I use the Wu-Tang, I got compressors, I got this. So there's something similar there. And the thing that stuck out the most, he said he used a flute for the bird. And I was like, okay, why? Oh, the wings, they flutter. A flute flutters. I got it. And it helped me to get through that job. And then that job worked well enough critically that when Tarantino was doing Kill Bill, he called me also. And it was for the idea of that not just a traditional Hollywood score, but a score from a music producer. So that means that it ain't gonna just be a it could be chop, move, bong. You know what I mean? So when you watch that movie, you hear great musical pieces, but you also hear these fragments coming in. You know what I mean? So point being made is, my hood said, the brother named CLR, he said this, he always would say this, yo, God, persistence overcomes resistance. You know what I mean? So I persist to train myself, so there'll be no resistance to what I want to do.
That's great.
Well said. How's the vegan life for you?
Healthy and good.
How long have you been vegan?
Man, I can't count now.
That's on like how many breaths of air you take. Like, yeah. So now we've become more conscious. You know what I'm saying? And you probably were vegan also when it wasn't a lot of stop here. Let me grab something now. Now you there's spots now.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you like, man, let me get the Impossible, let me get the Beyond, let me
options.
get the Del Taco, and you know. And so, but why did you go to being vegan?
I mean, for me, it was a consciousness more importantly than anything, right? And I don't know if this is the platform to go deep into that, but it was being conscious about myself, life, and life itself. Just conscious about life. You know what I mean? I don't think nothing need to die for me to live in all reality when that gets life from the same source I'm getting life from. So that's to put it in a nutshell, you know what I mean?
And you didn't do it when it was popular. You know, and for whatever reason somebody get in now. You know, you didn't, you know, and for whatever reason, but you didn't become the what the health vegan.
Right.
You know, because people saw what the health and we lost our minds, bro.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you always, for the longest, you've been taking care of the temple. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't do that. I was over 500 pounds at one point. Now, I'm gastric bypass. It took me 10 years to even just learn what to really kind of put in my body and how I'm eating and everything that affects you. You know, how important is it for you to take care of this thing that we call the body of the temple?
Yeah, you get a lot of things in life, but you only get one of these.
Yeah, that's crazy. We take better care of our car.
Exactly.
We put 91 octane in the car. Like, man, I got to put that good gas in my car.
Yeah, man. You gotta, Shaolin teaches, strong body and strong mind. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you gotta train even if you have a strong mind, you got a weak body, useless.
Right.
So as a Shaolin student, we must train our bodies and our minds. We must put the proper food into our bodies and the proper food, which is food of thinking and thoughts, into our mind. The great Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he wrote a book called How to Eat to Live. He wrote that years ago.
Yeah,
you know
you
what
can
I mean?
pop that open now,
and it works,
and you see it.
Yeah,
and even with how to eat to live now, people call that the intermediate fasting. When it's like, we just shut down. I'm like, no, that's not honorable. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
and Dr. Sebi, of course, he took it to a higher level with his information, letting us realize that some of the plants and things we eat are grafted and are not natural for our blood type or natural for our metabolism. Like, I didn't know that a carrot, even though a carrot may have been around for 900 years, it wasn't around for 10,000 years. You know what I mean? So
it was made.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So certain things are just made, and some things are made just to feed livestock.
Right.
And us as black people, and not separating the races by saying this, but us as black people, we got to realize that at one point we was considered the livestock. And therefore our diet was something that was just manufactured to keep us to kind of go for a little bit and make it to the next.
Knock this off the table there, yeah.
And so we got to be conscious of that. So our naturalism of ourselves, your body is not naturally made to consume dead animals. It's not naturally made. You can consume it. You cook it up, hook it up. I can make a great steak for you, right? But it's not a natural thing for yourself. And those scientists in one school would teach that, that you should have this, it's called a paleo
diet?
Yeah, right? That's when you got to be the hunting.
Yeah, it's just meat and veggies, no dairy, no grains.
Yeah, that's, that may be something that has a couple of thousand years on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when you want to get back to the root of things, you got to go past 6,000 years. You got to go past that. And now people say, well, 6,000 years ago we was in caves. No, you wasn't in no cave 6,000 years ago. All right, man is too intelligent for that. Mm-hmm. And so you got to go back longer and realize how men was living and how great man was. The Holy Quran gives us a great verse where it says, just keep digging, you'll find many great civilizations that's been covered. You know what I mean? And these civilizations have figured out things that we are actually devolving from. Mm-hmm. Instead of evolving, we're devolving. But fortunately, this generation, I think, with the awareness of diet, vegan, and the awareness of documentaries that's giving us information about this, and great doctors like Dr. CB continuing to work for.
It's like we know too much now. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we still, man, go on with that. Go on with that.
Now you got it. Look, it's on you. How you want to, you know what I mean? How you know? Look, one thing I don't want, okay, and I think I'm doing okay right now. My grandpops was already in the wheelchair at 48.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And he could fry some fat back for you, okay? My house, we had pig feet, pig ears, pigtails, fat back. You know what fat back is? No. That's just fried fat. You know what I mean? And that was on my table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? And by the time,
is it crazy some of the stuff that you ate that your kids never ate?
Yeah, it's super crazy.
Like it's sometimes like, man, what the hell was mom feeding me? Like, you know, she did what she did, but you know, now we have a little more knowledge,
consciousness,
and conscious, easy call. What's going on with Wu-Tang now? Touring, music.
Yeah, right now we doing touring. A lot of weekend. I call it weekend warriors. You know what I mean? So we hook up on the weekends and we'll end up in the city. Beautiful audiences out there and sharing our music, yo. And it's an open invitation to all my Wu-Tang brothers. They know it, but I don't mind putting it out publicly. You know, grab those pens, write, and make your migration over here.
I heard that.
You know what I mean?
And what does that mean?
I'm saying, yo, it's so much. One thing about Wu-Tang, right, Big Boy, is that it's so much creativity in this group of men. And when that creativity get in a room, you know what I mean? You get the 36 Chambers album. You know what I mean? You get this. It's just, I can't even explain it. And I just would love to see the creativity return into a room
for an album.
Just for some type of art. It don't have to be music now. You know what I mean? We've done music. You know, maybe we could write the Megaton screenplay or a play or something that's like.
It just said, you know, when y'all energies come together.
Yeah.
And it's if it's really a cipher.
Yeah. Something great comes out of that.
Man, I thank you for coming into the neighborhood, bro.
My pleasure.
we got to do this again and again.
Bong, bong.
As we should, brother. No, but thank you, man. And I wish y'all nothing but the best, bro. And I'm going to stay on you for when y'all do the shows and everything because I got to come out.
Respect.
Then, any movies you're working on?
We got one coming out. Just throw it out there real quick. No, we just, can I announce it? I don't know if I can announce that. We just got put into the festival. Anyway, there's a movie called Cutthroat City that is done, directed by the RZA. It will come out 2020. Look forward. Got some great actors in it. Got a great legend Wesley Snipes back in the camera with me. Terrence Howard, of course. The young brother Shamik Moore, Denzel Whitaker, Demetrius Schiff, and a bunch of good people that are rocking in this movie. Cat Graham, what up, beautiful? Yep.
Hey man, continue to do what you do, man, and continue to be an example.
Thank
you know what I'm saying? And thank you for leading us, man. Appreciate y'all, man. RZA in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.